Reince Priebus, chief of staff. You'd heard rumors that he was gone. They're true. He's gone. Trump has replaced him with the Homeland Security Secretary, John F. Kelly. Take it away, Cenk.
Down goes Priebus. Down goes Priebus. Down goes Priebus. Okay, now I would normally play, ladies and gentlemen, we got him, but we most certainly did not. Okay, they got themselves.
Who's we?
It's the usual Trump. Okay, I got a great idea. Let's all get in a circle and then let's use a nicer analogy, punch each other in the face. Okay, so the mooch, Scarface, came in. He said, oh, what's going on with this Reince guy? I gotta get him out of here. And then we had a really good question as to who was gonna leave, Mooch or Reince. We have our answer. Reince is gone. And I am no fan of Reince Priebus, and I'm happy to see this happen. But the reality is there are no winners here. I mean, and maybe in some ironic way, Reince Priebus might be way better off leaving now. So even though it is a terribly embarrassing firing that's happening today, later he might think, oh, thanks God I got out of there.
No, they're going full manic. I mean, this is great. I mean, first it was like, yeah, let's let my dogs fight each other and whichever one wins out. And now clearly we know which one won out. The mooch. Don't ever bet against the mooch.
Never betting. Here's the official tweet. You might think that President Trump, in his classic style, would do this during a press conference, well orchestrated. No, wouldn't you know it? He did it via tweet. He fired Reince Priebus during a tweet saying, I am pleased to inform you that I have just named General/Secretary John F. Kelly as White House Chief of Staff. He is a great American and a great leader. John has also done a spectacular job at Homeland Security. He has been a true star of my administration. I would like to thank Reince Priebus for his service and dedication to his country. We accomplished a lot together, and I am proud of him, exclamation point.
For being a human carpet for the last year over which to walk on. Like, my God, what loyalty is not even loyalty anymore. Like, we need new words. Like, I've never been in the mob yet. Give me time.
Give her a moment.
Scaramucci might be calling the Fiorentini up, we'll see.
Yeah.
But like, how do you get more loyal than Priebus?
Yeah.
I mean, he's like the weed whacker for every other Republican throughout it for a year now.
Stayed quiet through the election. When the sexual assault stories came up, Priebus was the person who said, there's nothing to see here, this kind of thing goes all the time. Establishment figures, of whom you would think Reince is one, Mitt Romney, et cetera, came forward and said, we need to abandon Trump during the election. Then there was the Never Trump attempt to maybe get someone in, who was it, David French. No, says Reince, he's with me, I'm with him. And now, down goes Priebus.
Well, you forgot the last tweet where Trump thanked Priebus for returning the knife in his back.
Yeah.
On his way out, he's like, I'm gonna go ahead and bleed out. Here, take out the knife. Okay, so to give you a more thorough sense of what happened here. So Reince Priebus was the head of the RNC and hence most definitively a part of the Republican establishment. Now, Trump did defeat the Republican establishment, so he had a right to appoint anyone he likes into his administration and have him run it. But he chose to make peace with the establishment to be more fruitful and productive and brought in Reince Priebus. Now, did some folks in Priebus's camp, in the establishment camp, leak inside the Trump White House? Yes, they did. Okay, they did. And so was Trump right to be frustrated by that? I'll give him credit on that, he was. If it was me, I'd be frustrated too.
What are the names?
Now,
what are the names?
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna
just give me like a letter.
Okay, I'm gonna name them all.
I mean, I can
I'm gonna
fire
him and I'm gonna kill him.
Okay, let's start with A. Adrian, you're gone.
Mooch pretty much said almost the same thing to Ryan Lizza the other day. So now making peace with the establishment didn't work, and on the other hand, Trump has two enormous problems here. So I just told you, look, they were leaking on him. That's no question about that. But on the other hand, first of all, what kind of a horrific manager are you that you allow your top lieutenants to fight in public? And you made a mob reference there, Francesca, but there is some truth to that. This is what mob bosses do, right? Like Okay, Tony, and sorry.
For the Anti-Defamation League of Italian voters, apologies, this is a Sopranos reference.
Yeah, let's say Robert.
I'm cool with it. Y'all have to be cool with it.
Yeah, let's say Robert and Fred. Okay,
Yeah.
Robert and Fred, you guys have to fight. Let me see what happens. Let's see who's who. And the mooch came in and he was more vicious.
Yeah.
And the mob boss was like, "Nice job."
Yep.
Now, look, I use that as an analogy. It's not to say that Trump is mob not right now. Yeah, he does use the same lawyers as the 5 out of the top 6 Italian mob families in New York, and he has literally hundreds of connections to the Russian mob, which I outlined on this show last week. Anyway, but so. One, horrific management to do this all in public, and it's just such a mess. It's unbelievable. They're not winning with this strategy, and they look ridiculous. They look like fools.
But not even on a corporate level. Like, if you think he's a good boss or he's a good leader, like a good boss and a good leader doesn't allow their number 2 and 3 guys to just go after each other, because then you're without either a number 2 or 3 guy,
Yeah, and you look ridiculous.
Well, and you look ridiculous.
You don't look like a strong leader if your whole team is in disarray.
Right.
Yeah, so
You might not look like a strong leader, but you're being looked at, and it just feels so much like a reality show. It feels like it's done for ratings. He brought in Scaramucci. Scaramucci sick him. He loves it. He likes having these attack dogs, and he loves the attention, not just from the general public watching this all play out, but he loves the attention from the people under him who are fighting so hard, tooth and nail, just to be like, look at me, love me, I'll fight for you, I'll go to war. It feels so much like Game of Thrones. There's a moment in Game of Thrones season 3 that I'm gonna spoil for you if you haven't seen it. Don't worry, it's not the most shocking thing that happens in season 3. There's a person who takes over Winterfell, and there is a maester who is someone who's not sworn to the person in charge of Winterfell, not sworn to any army. They're just sworn to look after Winterfell. To me, that's Reince Priebus, the person who's like, listen, my job is to make sure that the Republican Party stands after all these castles have burned to the ground. And what happened is very similar to what happens where Donald Trump, the Theon Greyjoy, it is so apt because it's like someone who's trying to live up to his daddy's example, has someone just stab the maester in the gut and he dies. And that's what it seems has happened, because it's now all these mercenary barbarians who've taken over CENTCOM of the Republican Party, and there is no one in control anymore.
Can I just, I have no idea what you just said.
Thank you.
Don't understand any of that, but my reference, I'm thinking about Emperor Palpatine here.
Okay.
And we know who that is, right? Where's the Dark Lord in all this? Because for me, it's, and I'm just reading, listen, I don't read every single one of Trump's tweets, but the last few days have been very interesting. I think the Emperor Palpatine uses a lot of ellipses. So the banning of trans people in the military, tons of ellipses. This announcement, tons of ellipses. ... Trump doesn't really use a lot of ...
Interesting.
I think Bannon, Dark Lord, is behind these tweets. They sound different.
No, so I think you're making a mistake there, which is that in Star Wars, there are forces of light and darkness, and there are smart people on both sides, Yoda, the Sith Lords, etc. In this case, there is no guy behind the curtain. It's just the same orange buffoon. He's like, what? Like, you open the curtain, it's still him. He's like, what? What's going on? I was in the middle of tweeting, right? So there's no plan here. There's no, because if it was Steve Bannon, Mooch hates Steve Bannon, we know, because he because Mooch just told Ryan Lizza accidentally on the record that I'm not like Steve Bannon, who likes to suck his own cock.
Sure.
However,
if you hate him,
however, if you watch the prequels, Emperor Palpatine can suck his own penis. It's one of his powers. He just goes like, and
looking up.
Okay, I don't even want to say. Okay, all right. So, but I was also going to use a Star Wars analogy here because
interesting.
Okay, because there is this Emperor Palpatine, and it is the Republican establishment, not these guys that have taken over for a second, like they're in charge of the Death Star.
They're the Ewoks.
Ewoks. Trump is more like
rocks.
Trump is more like Spaceballs. He's got the giant hat on. He's like, wait, am I doing this right?
Yeah, and he's surrounded by assholes.
Yeah, right. So, no, look, the empire is going to strike back. So, and this is going to lead to an important and serious point, which is that he has burned too many bridges. And now Spicer hates him, Priebus hates him, McCain hates him. I mean, the list goes on and on of all the people who hate him. Remember, if he's going to protect against impeachment, if perhaps maybe he did a deal with the Russians and the investigators come after him, the Democrats will obviously vote yes to get rid of him. He must hold the Republicans. And if he has shivved every Republican there is, he's not gonna be able to hold him. Look at what McCain just did on healthcare. So it's the empire is going to strike back, but this Spaceballs doesn't even get it and doesn't realize, because he has no strategy.
Right.
He is profoundly dumb. And by the way, you guys are right, enormously disloyal. Reince Priebus fought for him tooth and nail to make sure he got elected, even through the tapes where he grabs the women and stuff, and Reince is like, oh, it's no big deal. Who doesn't grab women? Whatever, right? By the genitalia, well then sexual, whatever, right?
They let you do it.
And
We all
just
say stuff
recently,
to impress Billy Bush. Tell me you wouldn't.
and just recently in June, Trump again, like the reason I keep talking about my boss is there is no management style in business that's like this, that's effective. There is no management style like this in politics that's effective. This is the management style of the mob. He had all of his lieutenants come out in June and all say good things about him. Oh yeah, Donald, he's fantastic.
They kissed his ring.
They kissed his ring. Mike Pence just
inviting me on the wedding of your daughter.
Yeah, exactly. And in that parade of fools that he just made out there, and Sessions just did it too. Sessions, he keeps punching Sessions in the face. He's like, go ahead, Jeffy, tell him what you want. And Jeff's like, oh, I want another one. I'm proud to serve with Donald. I mean, I've seen this movie before, literally. And at that time, Priebus had said, on behalf of the entire senior staff around you, Mr. President, we thank you for the opportunity and the blessing that you've given us to serve your agenda and the American people. That was last month. And then Donald takes him aside and he goes, oh, thank you, Reince, I appreciate that, you're a good boy. Oh, look at that, he's bleeding out. Boots, clean this thing up, all right?
There's an amazing thing I read in the Huffington Post as to one rumor as to why Scaramucci hates Priebus so much. And it was because Scaramucci angled during the transition to get a high profile job within the administration. And Priebus at the last minute pulled Trump aside and said, listen, he just sold his company to a lot of Chinese investors for way more than it was worth. And as a result, I think that deal looks fishy. And the quote that is quoted in the Huffington Post as being heard by multiple people within the White House was Reince telling Trump, you got played. And the feeling of getting played, like that's Reince being calculating and doing exactly the right kind of thing to say to the president. Not saying it's true, it's still rumors, but these are the kinds of things that are floating around, which is really all we have.
Trump's like, do you know about Russia? Okay, oh yes, I guess not. Oh, China, bad.
Oh yeah, I can't believe that was China. And finally, that's exactly why all this went down. It is confirmed that Reince Priebus blocked Scaramucci. Whether he did it with that exact strategy is still not perfectly known. Those are the rumors that Brett's referring to. But Scaramucci has confirmed that yes, Priebus did block him from getting into the administration after he sold his company, changed his life, and then oops. And so Priebus has blocked him several times before, and in Mooch's colorful language, he told a reporter, yeah, he cock blocked me. Okay, these are the classy guys. Remember how they said that Obama was not being classy enough in office?
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Cock block like Scaramucci, like you would throw yourself. If he ever got near any one of my friends, I would just throw myself between him and like the dude is just asking to be cock blocked.
If you like this video, you'll love the whole TYT network. Check it out at tytnetwork.com/join.